lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life goes slow, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome to Talladega, Alabama, in race number 2 of round number 3 of the iRacing Superspeedway Series playoffs. Tony Spence with the booth with you for this one. And it all really comes down to this bear with me a second, folks, as everything kind of went wonky on me there for a second. There we go. Let's take a quick look at the points coming into tonight. James Lowe already punching his ticket in. Chris Worrell, Mark McFadden, both currently in the Final Four. Brian Chu and Michael Anthony both tied for that final transfer spot. Ed DeBoer currently on the outside looking in. Joe Gautier, Tim Henderson rounding out your top 8. So it all comes down to this. Who's going to make it to the championship round of 4 next week in the Xfinity car at Daytona under the lights? We shall find out here momentarily. 70 laps the scheduled distance here tonight. 70% fuel fill, so we're looking right around 25 laps is all we're going to be able to get out of a tank of Go Fast here tonight. So definitely something these guys are going to want to be mindful of as practice getting ready to wind on down here. I'm currently counting 16 haulers in the infield. So, not too shabby of a field. Big news coming out of the iRacing E Superspeedway Series this week is the league almost unanimously voting to get rid of the one fast repair. So now these guys are going to have to do it the hard way. Some other rule changes coming down the pipe coming into next season. Not ready to announce those yet, but keep in mind that things are going to change. Not sure to what degree yet, but they're coming. Ed DeBoer currently sitting atop the pile. Brian Tarnowski, James Lowe, Chris Worrell, Austin Collins rounding out your top five currently. Mark McFadden, Joe Gautier, Ryan Decker, Tim Henderson, and Brandon Wilson all laying times. As have Dusty Burkhart, Michael Anthony, and Greg McConey. Nick Wing has not yet turned a lap. Jason Papp and Connor Trafari have yet to turn a lap. So those are the 16 cars that are here currently, as we are just waiting for the practice session to wind on down here. Thank you all so much for making this part of your Friday evening. We would not be here without you. Let us know you like what you're seeing. Don't forget to like, favorite, subscribe, share, and turn on bell notifications. And be sure to join the Facebook discussion so you don't miss a single moment of action on Sim Racing Media. There's a lot of leagues starting to ramp back in as the race season starts back up. Speed Week's already underway down in Daytona. All the short track stuff currently taking place at places like New Smyrna, Volusia County, Five Flags, etc. I believe East Bay is also going this weekend. And that looked healthy, as we have cars eating hot garbage coming through the tri-oval. That's going to do it for the practice session. Qualifying getting ready to get underway here. 5 minutes on the clock. One the lap to get it done with. Who's going to be the first one to roll it? Cujo is going to be the first one to get it going. Joe Gautier already underway. James Lowe in the orange SimCube truck tonight. Normally we see him in a white ride. Rocking the orange colors tonight. There's Tim Henderson in the Fleet Runners number 91. Brian Tarnowski back in the Tricious Hope ride tonight. Dusty Burkhart back in the Tennessee Vols car. Good to see him back in a familiar paint scheme. Ryan Decker back in a Toyota tonight. Gautier, the first one, going to take the green flag coming into the tri-oval right now. You can see him trying to make that outlap as long as he possibly can to get that truck as wound up as he can. He's going to dive it down as soon as he goes into turn number one, though, and don't expect to see him get far from that yellow stripe. About half a truck width off of the apron right now. Nice and steady line through there. Tim Henderson also on the clock. Michael Anthony out on track right now as well. Henderson and Gautier are going to be the first two to lay a time. As we're going to follow along with Gautier. Ryan Decker currently the quickest in the first sector. As Gautier's going to be the first one to lay a time. We're going to check over with Decker. Lap for Gautier. Immediately bumped off as Decker's coming to the line now. James Lowe to the top of the pile. Decker quickest of all, 56 flat. Greg McConey coming out of the pits now. And there's the Purdue Boilermaker. Let's check in with Michael Anthony. There he is in the Balls Garana Toyota. time for Anthony. Fourth quick. McConey coming around to take the green flag here. There's Jason Papp already rolling it in the jockey number 1. Should have enough time to get that lap in. Should have just enough time to get that lap in. McConey on the clock, Nick Wing, Ed DeBoer, Mark McFadden, Brandon Wilson, Chris Worrell, Austin Collins, and Connor Trafari all have yet to make an appearance, so they are not going to get their laps in. It's going to be a tight one for Papp to get it in, but he should be able to hustle it around. McConey on his flyer right now. Decent time so far. One of the quickest we've seen so far in the first sector. Let's see what the second sector is going to do for McConey. Coming through the tri-oval. Nice tidy line for McConey. This is going to put him fourth quick. The only other driver that could possibly lay a time, and I don't think he's going to get the lap in, is Jason Papp. 35 seconds left as he's coming through 1 and 2 right now. He needed to be about the middle of the back straightaway to make this lap count. Going to follow along, though, to see what does happen here. He could pull one out, but he's going to have to hope for a miracle right now. 15 seconds left. I don't think he's going to get this lap in. But it's a super speedway, and qualifying really doesn't count. Yep, he's aborting the run. That does it for qualifying. Let's bring the starting grid up. Ryan Decker goes quick time with a 55.995, 18 thousandths to the good over James Lowe, who's won the past 4 races. Dusty Burkhart and Greg McConey going to start it from row number 2. Michael Anthony and Tim Henderson going to start from row number 3, with row 4 going to Brian Tarnowski and Joe Gautier. Chris Worrell and Connor Trafari in row number 5, with row 6 going to Austin Collins and Brandon Wilson. Ed DeBoer and Nick Wing from row number 7. Starting shotgun on the field will be Mark McFadden and Jason Papp. So 16 trucks scheduled to roll it here tonight. 75 laps of scheduled distance, 70% fuel fill. Again, we're looking right around 25 laps is all you're going to be able to get out of a tank of fuel here tonight. Just waiting for a few stragglers to grid up. Finish your beers, boys. Time to grid. Not sure what the holdup is. Take a quick look at the weather conditions coming into tonight. 74-degree ambient air temperature, 40% water grain in the air. Means these engines are going to be making gobs of horsepower, but look at that track temperature. 123 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a hot surface. And this is not a good thing. Is Tim Henderson electing to pit start? Let me just take a quick look at something here. Yep. 2 Tennessee ball trucks in the field tonight. Henderson electing to pit start, so that's going to put him behind the 8 ball. He's hoping for carnage early. Again, taking a quick look at the point standings coming into tonight. Henderson currently down in 8th. Lowe punched his ticket in last week. Chris Worrell, Mark McFadden, Brian Chu. Actually, Mark McFadden and Chris Worrell, the only 2 that are currently on the inside. Brian Chu and Michael Anthony tied for that final transfer spot. And it's going to come down to who finishes where tonight. as a couple of guys need a win. Plain and simple. That's the only way you're guaranteed to get in, is you need to win to get into the championship round of 4. And then next week at Daytona, under the lights, in the Xfinity car, we will crown a champion. Again, no fast repair tonight, so that's something these guys are really going to have to be mindful of. As Decker in control of the restart this time, first time in a couple of weeks. We haven't seen James Lowe take pole position. 18 thousandths to the good was Decker. He might have something for these guys here tonight. Field working its way out of turn number 4. Pace truck getting ready to make that lazy left turn down below the mustard stripe. There it goes. Decker going to have the buttons. Geico restart zone in full effect tonight. The only thing left for me to say is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some boiled peanuts because it's time to roll Tide in Alabama. Race fans, it's show time!
Green, green, green.
Decker pulls the trigger and we are underway. There goes Henderson out of the pits now. Decker controlling the low line. James Lowe battles back on the top shelf as McConey now gets the point. Decker pushing him along. McConey, Decker, Lowe, Burkhart, and Anthony, your top 5 as they currently sit. Decker pushing Lowe way up the track. He abandoned McConey, and that's going to let Lowe lead that first lap. And we're already 3 wide. Oh! Gautier into the wall. Holy cow. What just happened there? Keep your eye on the 3 in the middle there. He's going to get a run coming up through the middle. Lowe's going to pinch down. Decker doesn't lift. Gautier goes for a ride. And that could spell the night for Gautier. Let's watch this again here as we are actually going to follow along with Joe Gautier. There you see him on the low side. Lowe's going to pinch down here. Decker gets into him, turns him into... Oi! iRacing physics at its finest. That hand grenaded the engine on Gautier's ride. And it's unfortunate. And unfortunately, Joe Gautier has decided to put it immediately on the hauler. Good news for Tim Henderson is he did not go a lap down as that caution came out on lap 1. Actually, on the start of lap 2. Well, that didn't take long. Looks like everybody coming pit side to pack that thing full of fuel. And some of the guys involved in that are going to have to get some damage repair. Greg McConey winning the battle off pit road. Dusty Burkhardt, Ed DeBoer, and Nick Wing following him out. Everybody else spending an extended amount of time on pit road. That's a lot of damage. Well then. Miss Sally Hammond checking in. Good to have you with us as always. Aunt Mary, good to have you with us as well. Brad Mashburn checking in. And yeah, Brad, we are going to blame you for checking in, and every time you check in, we always end up with a caution. So yeah, we're going to blame Brad. Oh, good grief. Looks like we're going to have some more takers coming down pit road. Just to pack those things full of fuel. Lights should be going out on the pace truck this time by. Lights are out as a couple drivers still pit farming their rides around this joint. Greg McConey, Dusty Burkhardt, Brandon Wilson, Brian Tarnowski, Connor Tafari, Nick Wing, Ed DeBoer, Chris Worrell, Michael Anthony, and Mark McFadden, your top 10 as they currently sit. James Lowe and Tim Henderson, both after spending extended periods of time on pit road. As looks like Lowe is taking the outside. That's going to move him up into 6th. McConey going to have the button this time. As the field works its way out of turn number 4, as that pace truck is ready to make that lazy left turn. There it goes, and here we go. Again, Geico restart zone is in effect. McConey having the button this time. Leads him into the tri-oval. Geico restart zone coming up. Flagger already has the flag in his hand. McConey can pull the trigger anytime by entering it.
Green flag.
Drags the brake just a tick. Wilson gives him a good shove. And we are back underway. They've got Connor Trafari in tow right now. I believe this is only Trafari's third start with the series this season. That outside lane did not get going. Everybody getting single filed out already. Looks like they learned their lesson after what happened starting lap 2. Here comes Trafari and Wing on the outside. Wing going to drop back down low as Burkhart now picks up Trafari. Still working around the very wounded Ryan Decker. Trafari with a good run on the outside. Burkhart giving him a good push. Chris Worrell already up into the mix. Give the lap to McConey. Trafari, Wilson, Burkhart, Worrell, Wing, Lowe, Anthony, and Henderson, and DeBoer rounding out your top 10 as we currently sit. Here comes that second lane. Connor Trafari, drag race with McConey going into turn number 3. Keep them straight, boys. 3 trucks ganged up on that outside lane. Wilson and McConey taking the short way around, but here comes Trafari with a good push coming off of 4. Burkhart a little bit loose. Has to collect it. That's going to let McConey get back to the door of Trafari coming through the tri-oval. Give the lap to Trafari, though. Tim Henderson now back up in the mix. You know what, we're going to go on board with Tim Henderson. What do you say? Takes over the lead, drops down in front of McConey. That's going to let Henderson lead that outside lane as he's got Tarnowski and Trafari up there for company. Still a lot of racing left in this one. We're only working lap 10 of 75. Took him a couple laps to get these things up to full chat. Tim Henderson currently has the fast lap of the race with 51.87. He's getting now pushed along by Tarnowski. an 85 going into 3. That's... Oh!
Yellow flag is out.
Wow. Austin Collins just went for a ride. There's Collins on the outside. You see Jason Papp glued to his back bumper. And Collins just gets into Trafari and... Oy! Let's watch that again. He's going to get into Trafari. Trafari goes down into Wilson. Collins just goes airborne. There's the Tennessee Vols, number 29, on the top shelf. He's going to get into the back of the 16 in the middle of 2. Turns Trafari. Wilson gets into him, up into the catch fence. And Ed DeBoer catches a race truck to the face. And just like that, we're back under caution. Chris Worrell going to lead the entire pack down pit road. Everybody's going to at least take fuel. We could see some 4-tire stops start to happen here. As we've got 2 retirements to speak of. Brandon Wilson in the 501 and Joe Gautier in the 67. As Jason Papp stayed out. With as badly as that truck is smoking, I'm surprised Papp stayed out. Looks like the mod I saw the other day for Assetto Corsa, where somebody modded a Thomas, something to be a Thomas the Tank Engine. How to ruin your childhood in 3, 2, 1. Looks like everybody that came pit side that time that didn't have to get damage repair took 4 in fuel. Again, as Papp stays out, I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back to pit road. Oh boy. It's when it stops smoking is when you need to worry. And yes, Jason Papp has lost the engine. Well then. Back down pit road comes DeBoer. Tarnowski stays out. Worrell stays out. Henderson stays out. Looks like Mark McFadden also electing to stay out. There is Mark. As lights go out on the Chevy Silverado pace truck, the official pace truck of iRacing. So I'm currently looking at the people that took part in the vote for getting rid of the fast repair. And I'm looking at the guys that voted against or to remove the fast repair, and I'm betting 3 of them right now are wishing that they hadn't. So Tarnowski going to have the button this time. Tim Henderson going to be starting right behind him. Chris Worrell and Mark McFadden going to be restarting one on the outside lane. As the pace truck is in, Tarnowski has the button as we go into the Geico restart zone. Tim Henderson going to be restarting behind him, looking to get a good start. Tarnowski jumps on the loud pedal. Tarnowski starts to go with him. Henderson starts to go with Tarnowski. Tarnowski just gets up and out of the way. Gives Henderson a good run on the low side. Here comes James Lowe. Oy. Worrell and McFadden working that second lane. They've got McConey for company. Here comes Dusty Burkhardt as well. Down on the low side is Tim Henderson, Tim Henderson, James Lowe, and Connor Trafari. As I'm seeing numbers in the outside lane right now, that does not bode well for those 3 on the low side. Working lap 15, get ready to put 15 in the books here tonight. Give the lap to Worrell. All-important bonus point. If he doesn't get the win tonight, he'll at least get that bonus point for leading the lap to help move him into the championship round of 4 next week. He now gets up and out of the way as those 2 Valskarana teammates of Chris Worrell and Michael Anthony going to team up to try to get something going here. It's now McConey pushing McFadden. You got the 2 Fords on the top shelf and 2 Chevys on the low side, led by Henderson. Give the lap to McFadden. All important bonus point. McFadden needed that as he now drops down in front of Henderson. McFadden coming into tonight 3rd place in points. Doesn't necessarily need a win, but does need a good, strong finish. So now Henderson jumps up in front of McConey. That second lane seems to be where the speed is, especially coming through the tri-oval. These guys are going to have to be mindful of that as we get into the closing laps of this piece. As both Henderson and McConey get the clear. Here comes Burkhardt down to the inside in front of McFadden. Anthony and Worrell pushing on each other back there in the second lane. They're starting to make some headway as Henderson and McConey starting to mix it up in front. Looks like they were trying to kill the momentum. Henderson's got to go up and actually throw the block too late. Those Two Toyotas running stem to stern on the top shelf. It's going to be an all-important bonus point for Michael Anthony as well. Doesn't get it. Henderson got the lap. And the good news is for Michael Anthony, Brian Chu is not here tonight. He and Chu were tied for fourth place coming into this evening. Gautier is already out. DeBoer is still in. And Henderson is still in. Nobody is safe other than James Lowe, who won last week. Henderson finally got up to get the block put on Michael Anthony. As here comes McConey and Burkhart on the low side. We started with 16. We currently have 11 still running. Sorry, 12 still running, with 2 in the pits. So Austin Collins and Jason Papp, both of whom have to replace engines. Brandon Wilson has put it on the hauler. Joe Gautier has put it on the hauler. 3 wide coming through the tri-oval. Henderson tried to block Anthony again. Anthony was having none of it. Henderson now hung out to dry as here comes Kardowski to give some reprieve. Give that lap to McConey. Closing in on 1/3 of the way through this piece tonight. Again, thank you all so much for making us a part of your evening. Or in the case of Miss Sally Hammond, joining us on a Saturday afternoon. Guys are picking them up and laying them down now. Everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's. That inside lane a little bit better formed up than the outside is at this point. Anthony, Burkhart, Worrell, and Henderson, your top 5 as we currently sit. James Lowe stalking back there with his 2 balls out teammates up on the high side. And the rest of the field lined up against him on the low side. And we've already proven time and time again this season that if you can get 3 trucks that know what they're doing with the draft, 3 trucks can go faster than the whole pack. That's exactly what we're starting to see from that outside lane. As Worrell peeks out to get some cool air to the radiator, he's going to slot in behind Lowe, it looks like. Tarnowski drifts up to try to kill the momentum of that second lane. Anthony now peels out. On board, we are with Mark McFadden now. Anthony, the only two on the outside right now, as they're looking to get the clear on McConey. Coming down the back straight, and when McConey fights back, Anthony just now gets the clear, and Worrell stays to the top side. By half a fender at the line, give that lap to McConey. Anthony still has not led a lap yet. And it hasn't been for lack of trying. Tarnowski jumps up to the second lane. Worrell bails out. Anthony and Burkhart now go to the second lane. Not close enough to have the run yet. They're getting there. Still a three-truck tango up there as Worrell joins his teammates. If you had told me at the beginning of the season that Greg McConey would be one of the ones that went winless all season long so far, and here we are, the second to the last race of the season, period, and he would be winless, I would have told you you were full of baloney. Now McConey with the, Anthony with a nose out front. Here comes McConey battling back. Give it to McConey by a fender. Just past the third of the way through this piece tonight. As we are going to step away, pay a couple bills. Don't worry, we're going side by side. We'll be back right after this.
What's up, guys? Roger Debo, front tire changer for the 45 Alpha Prime car. You're watching Sim Racing Media.
And we are back at Talladega for round number 3, race number 2 of the iRacing E Superspeedway Series playoffs. And something happened while we were away to Dusty Burkhardt. And how that wasn't a caution, I have no idea. But we were able to watch it live. And it's the second round of, or second grouping of green flag pit stops happening now. Ed DeBoer and Nick Wing both electing to stay out. Two Dudes Racing teammates working very well with each other right now. They are both coming, the two Fords coming pit side this time. Let's take a look at what happened with the first handful of trucks that came down pit road. As they do have a good head of steam. The only problem is, there's the guys that just finished their pit stops. And you can see 3 torn up race trucks already. That's going to let Henderson, McConey, and Tarnowski get a good run at these guys. Still clicking off right now. That's Nick Wing coming out of pits there. DeBoer right in front of them. They're going to both lose the front. As Henderson and McConey have caught the lead group of Low, Worrell, and Anthony. Henderson back to the front, drops down in front of James Lowe, hangs McConey out. Michael Anthony was thinking about it as Tim Henderson just reset fast lap of the race with a 51.54. Almost half a second to the good over what anyone else has been able to do, with the exception of McConey, who just went 51.59. So the two fastest laps were by those trucks that are now bookending this lead group of 5. Just past the halfway mark here from Talladega. You're watching the Circle B Diecast Superspeedway, the iRacing E Superspeedway series. Started that for so long that I forgot about the name change. The iRacing E Superspeedway series on Sim Racing Media. Thank you so much for making this a part of your evening. Henderson now shows the way on the low side. Michael Anthony leading the top shelf first World for company. They're not going to have a charge as that's Mark McFadden coming up the lap. Currently 8 trucks left on the lead lap. Tarnowski, the last one, scored as such. And Wing have caught the lead pack. So now throw a blanket over your top 8 trucks. Brian Tarnowski being the caboose in this little freight train. Tim Henderson jumps up to the second lane. Michael Anthony finally getting credited with leading a lap here tonight. Lap 41, getting ready to put 41 in the books here tonight at Talladega. Again, be sure to join us next week as we bring you the season finale from Daytona under the light in the Xfinity car. Still a lot of money to play for in the iRacing E Superspeedway series, being as the winner of the end of the season points battle, which it'll come down to 4 cars next week. The winner will receive let me double check my facts here before I start shooting my mouth off. $150 to first place in the season championship. $50 for second place, $25 for third. You have to be in it to win it. And quick check of the points. Quick check of the points shows me that Lowe, Worrell, Anthony, and McFadden are in. DeBoer and Henderson on the outside looking in. Chu and Gautier have been eliminated. And I stand corrected, it's Lowe, Worrell, Anthony, and Henderson currently in. With DeBoer and McFadden on the outside. But that could change, as we still have about 30 laps left in this one. Anything could go wrong. This lead lap group of 8 trucks right now. Michael Anthony, Chris Worrell, James Lowe, Greg McConey, Tim Henderson, Ed DeBoer, Nick Wing, and Brian Tarnowski. That's your top 8. And then they are fast approaching this group, being led by Connor Trafari. You've got Ryan Decker and Dusty Burkhart in that little grouping as well. They're going to have to hustle if they want to do it. Are we going to see a fourth straight week of balls out? A third straight week of balls out racing sweeping the podium? Or are we going to see a shakeup? James Lowe's the only one right now that's currently in the championship round of 4. Everything else is still yet to race for. Michael Anthony continuing to show the way here tonight. Inside 30 to go. He's got Worrell up there for company. James Lowe riding shotgun behind those two. Worrell peeks out to get some cool air to the radiator of that Toyota Tundra. 2 Toyotas, a Chevy, or 2 Toyotas, 2 Chevys, and a Ford in your top 5 right now. Lap 47 in the books. Anthony continues to show the way. Everything has calmed down. We have lost a couple of trucks. 3 retirements to speak of. Brandon Wilson, Austin Collins, and Joe Gautier, all putting them on the hauler early. Jason Papp still on pit road as that team continues to try to swap out the engine on the 1. 12 trucks still running. McFadden, the last truck being scored, is still on track back in 12. We say we go on board with last week's winner. This is about to get interesting, considering that the this lead group is now getting into some lap traffic. Mark McFadden gets up and out of the way. Everybody else stays low. Decker jumps up. A lot of damage. Good grief. What's the one thing we always preach, folks? Be predictable. James Lowe got shuffled back. As he now runs right in front of Tarnowski. Your top 8 trucks have now been joined by some lap trucks. Connor Jafari, Dusty Burkhardt, Ryan Decker, and Mark McFadden all mixed up in this grouping. Michael Anthony continues to show the way right now, as we are closing in on 20 to go. Closing in on 20 to go, and the you can make it from here territory. Anthony, Worrell, McConey, Henderson, DeVore, Wing, Lowe, and Tarnowski, your lead lap group of 8. Jason Papp has finally left the pit road. There he is, finally getting back up to speed now, but you can see all the damage on the nose of that Chevy Silverado. That is not what he was hoping for tonight. Laps to go, and you can make it from here territory. So I would expect to see green light pit stops take place momentarily. Pap's going to have to be careful as the lead pack is coming up on him like a freight train right now. About 20 mile an hour difference as Pap gets up and out of the way. And we are 20 to go. Championship 4 as they currently sit. James Lowe, Chris Worrell, Michael Anthony, and Ed DeBoer. Currently on the outside looking in, Tim Henderson and Mark McFadden. Brian Chu and Joe Gautier both eliminated. Gautier getting taken out on lap 2 going into turn 1. Just decided to call it a night right then and there and not wait for the engine to be replaced in that truck. Here we go. The whole field's coming. Watch the speeding. It's going to be close for Worrell. So we're going to keep an eye and see if anybody did get popped for speeding on. Jafari down and away. Worrell down and away. Everybody's clean. Nicely done, gentlemen. A little bit of a shake-up there. Chris Worrell winning the battle off pit road. Connor Jafari is a lap truck. Worrell gets him up and out of the way. Here comes DeBoer. DeBoer and Wing both in this mix. This is going to be a shootout, folks. DeBoer and Wing for Dudes Racing, both driving Fords. Chris Worrell and Michael Anthony for Balls Out Racing, both in Toyotas. And DeBoer could possibly, yes he does. DeBoer gets an extra bonus point for leading his first lap of the night. He needed that. He really needed that. DeBoer shows the way with 17 to go. It'll be 16 to go at the line. Tim Henderson is with his front group as well. He's trying to side draft himself to the front. He's going to need help to do it. And right now, he doesn't have any. Michael Anthony jumps up to the second lane. We know Anthony loves running that second lane. Not afraid to do it. Trucks on the bottom lane, 3 trucks on the top shelf. Looks like Connor Trafari thought better of it, drops back down, didn't have the run. To go at the line. DeBoer shows the way. When everybody came down pit road, you can make it from here. DeBoer and Wing both gambling on that last pit stop, taking fuel only. Everyone else took at least 2. $14 to go. This is going to come down to DeBoer and Henderson. McFadden's hoping for a miracle right now as he's back in 12th. 6 laps down from the leaders. We go. Worrell has help from Anthony now on that second lane. Connor Safari going up to help them. DeBoer, Henderson, and Wing on the bottom lane. It's getting down to crunch time. We will try to confirm the championship round of 4 before we go off the air tonight. But you're definitely not going to want to miss next week, as we should be back on the YouTube side of things. DeBoer and Henderson leading that bottom line charge with Wing for help. Worrell and Anthony on the top side, all by their lonesome. Connor Safari has fallen off pace. Five trucks leading this piece. 4 of them are still in the playoffs. Currently on the inside, DeBoer, Worrell, and Anthony, and James Lowe is your championship 4 as they currently sit right this second. But that could possibly change. Ten to go. DeBoer, Henderson, Worrell, Wing, Anthony, McConey, Tarnowski, and Lowe. Your lead lap 8 trucks. Connor Trafari, 2 laps down. Ryan Decker, 4 laps down. Mark McFadden, -7. Dusty Burkhart is still on pit road getting that truck repaired. Jason Papp, -40. Brandon Wilson, Austin Collins, Joe Gautier all putting it on the hauler early. It'll be 8 to go at the stripe. Henderson continuing to work with each other. Anthony and Worrell getting that second lane up and running. 3 trucks on the bottom side, able to maintain though. And they're coming up on lap traffic. This is definitely no bueno. Seven to go as DeBoer continues to show the way on the bottom side. Anthony going to drop down to the low side. Worrell hung out to dry on the top shelf. Now slots in behind Anthony, hoping he can stay in this lead group of 5. McConey in 6 is about half a lap behind this group. He's got Tarnowski for company. It'll be 6 to go this time. And this could come down to bonus points, folks. Big question is, who's going to get the credit for leading the most laps here tonight? It'll be 5 to go at the line. Anything that brings out a caution from here to the white flag, we're going into overtime. Hopefully it doesn't come to that, but hey, who knows? Everybody playing nice so far. Still plenty of time left in this one, though. DeBoer and Henderson at the front. Nick Wing holds down third, trying to keep those 2 balls out teammates behind him in the form of Michael Anthony and Chris Worrell. Anthony gets onto the apron coming through 2. That's not good. Nick Wing goes up and throws the block as Anthony was trying to get a run coming down the back chute. Everybody getting twitchy on the old tires. 3 laps to go. DeBoer continues to show the way. Henderson's going to have to move him. Anthony on the top side. Worrell pushing the daylights out of him. Flirting with 190 miles an hour going into turn number 3 in a pickup truck. Are we going to see regular time? Popsicle sticks in the air, 2 laps to go. Just about 5 miles left in this piece. They come up to put Connor Trapari another lap down. Anthony pokes the nose out in front, coming into 3. DeVore battles back on the low side. Henderson trapped right now. We can see the white flag in the starter's hands. Can they get to the line? We are racing back to checkers. 2.6 miles left in this one. DeBoer and Anthony leading the respective lanes. Henderson is going to have to move DeBoer if he's going to have a shot at it. He has the clear. He could jump up. He's not doing it, though. Now he goes. It might be too late. Drag race going into turn number 3. Here comes Wing to push DeBoer. Henderson and DeBoer need to settle this between themselves. The winner moves into the championship round of 4. Henderson with the nose out front, coming into the trial for the final time. Coming to the stripe, Henderson's around! DeBoer wins! DeBoer wins! Here's coming to the checker. Anthony looks to the inside. Wing gets turned. And Ed DeBoer comes home with the biggest victory he ever could have asked for. When it all came down to it and he needed to get what he needed to get, Ed DeBoer, congratulations on punching your ticket into the championship round of 4, my friend.
Oh, thank you, Tony, man. Oh, that was one hell of a race there, man. Woo!
You and Tim were going after it tonight.
Oh, I had to. I had to win that thing. I didn't want to take a chance of having to point my way into it, so I had to give it everything I had there. Just had to lay back and stay safe through that early mess that was going on and just keep my truck clean, and I think I finished with 0X.
You dodged 2 big bullets in the early going. Another coat of paint, and you would have been in trouble in both of those first incidences.
Yeah, I tell you what, I don't know who it was, but somebody went flying over top of my truck. I drove right underneath them. They went up over top, and a great team win, man. I had my teammates there and Nick, Greg, and Ryan working with me and just talking me through stuff. And Nick right there at the end, great teammate there at the end to give me that push. I knew Tim was going to go for it. He needed the win to get in also. And I knew that there was the 3 of them on the high side. And Nick just got right there on my bumper and just pushed the crap out of me. And it pushed me right on up there. I'm not sure what happened off to my side, but I wasn't looking. I just kept it matted to the floor.
Oh, it was more in your rearview mirrors when it happened, but there was carnage behind you, and you stayed clear of it. Ed, congratulations on punching your ticket.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk us through how much it means to be able to go into Daytona next week with a shot at the championship.
It's what I've been working for, man. I've been in this league now. I think this is the 3rd season. I've been here I made it to the top 8. I think each of the seasons I've been here, and I've fallen short in that top 4. So to actually make it to that top 4 is huge. It makes me feel good. I've got a heck of a battle on my hands because who all's in it? I think I got the balls, guys. I got to
Well,
beat.
the two guaranteed right now are you and James Lowe. With a second place finish, Worrell should advance in, and Anthony advances.
Yeah, so it's me against the balls, guys.
Yeah, but you got three teammates who got nothing to lose.
I do.
So
I do.
that's when you guys
And
are
I tell
most
you,
dangerous, man.
yeah, and those three teammates, they'll help me out. They'll do what they got to do to push me up there. So
Absolutely.
So
Who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate and take a breath?
So first of all, thank God for this. I thank my Lord and Savior, number one. Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, iRacing, iFlag, Butt Kicker, Midwest Motor Customs. My sponsor on my truck, Unified Athletic Wear. James, I appreciate the fact that, we had a good run there. And I know James Lowe and I got into it here a few weeks ago. But, everyone raced me clean tonight and didn't put anything on me, so I appreciate all the other racers out there, but also my teammates, and Greg and Brandon, Nick, and Ryan. So yeah, and Tony, thank you for broadcasting and everything you do, bud. Thank you very much.
You guys keeping me action like we just saw. Congratulations, Ed, and we will see you next week in the championship round of 4.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And joining us now, one of the other drivers who will be joining that championship round of 4 next week at Daytona, the pride of Suffolk, Virginia, Chris Worrell. All things considered, you podiumed the last 5 races.
Yeah, it's been good. We've had good finishes here. It was a little hectic there at first. I hate that I turned Dusty and wrecked him. We were trying to get Michael lap bled, and it was hard to get him past Greg and Tim there. So we were doing everything we could and ended up getting him squirrely and finishing him off there. So sorry to Dusty for that. And other than that, it was a fun race.
Well, do you want the good news now?
Sure, I'll take
it. Championship round of 4. James Lowe.
Oh, cool.
Chris Worrell, Michael Anthony, and Ed DeBoer.
Nice.
You guys have the numbers.
We do. We'll have to gang up and try to beat the hell out of Edwin next week.
Well, best of luck to you then.
It's going to be tough, though.
It's going to be in the Xfinity car, which, all 4 of you guys have shown good strength in that car all season.
Yeah, they're a lot more steady than these trucks. These trucks are fun, but we should be able to push pretty hard next week.
All right, Chris, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate?
1 second, and I will tell you. The team, everybody in the Discord, you, Tony, SRM. I'm in the wrong Discord looking for things, I think. Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, Plan B Sales, Midwest Motor Customs, and I believe that is it.
All right, Chris Worrell, congratulations on another podium. We'll see you next week in the championship round of 4.
Okay, thanks, man.
And joining us now is Boston in the house, Michael Anthony, another podium.
How we doing, Tony?
How are you doing? You guys went for a wild ride there coming to the finish.
Yeah, I couldn't get any run on that outside line because whatever the heck Deco was doing in the first 5 laps to turn right into me damaged my car. But yeah, we did what we could.
Well, you did what you could. You got yourself through to the championship round of 4. And it's going to be a slugfest next week in the Xfinity car at Daytona under the lights.
Yeah, that's a good combo. It's a good way to end the season off. I'm excited to race for the championship.
Absolutely. I mean, Mike, it's been an up and down season, but when it came crunch time, you turned the wick up and you got yourself into the championship round of 4. What does this mean to you?
I've been in the league for a while now, probably I'd say 6 or 7 seasons, but like I mentioned,
I was going to say, at least 5 seasons that I've been broadcasting you guys.
Yeah, and it's the first time making the playoffs this year because I just didn't get the minimum races in. I think it's like a 16, 17 race schedule, maybe something like that, and I was only getting 7 or 8 in a season.
Right.
But I made sure, like I said last week, to race every race this season. I think I missed 1 but to race every race and have a good time with my boys, Chris and James.
All right, Mike, who do you need to thank before we let you go celebrate making it to the championship round of 4 next week?
The team, of course, Balls Out Racing. Chris, James. Let me get the Chris. Yeah, you guys for the broadcast, Tony. Every week, I know I say it, it's repetitive, but we appreciate you putting on the broadcast. It's fun to go watch back. Jason, Greg, Frank for admin in the league. Circle B Diecast, Rowdy Energy, iRacing iFlag, Butt Kicker, and Midwest Motor Customs. Yes, sir.
All right, Mike, congratulations, and we will see you next week at Daytona.
All right. Hope to talk to you next week. Have a good night.
And that is going to do it for the finishing tonight. Ed DeBoer, Chris Worrell, Michael Anthony, all three of whom just punched their tickets into the championship round of 4. Nick Wing coming home in 4th, sideways. Tim Henderson, heartbreak for him, coming across the line backwards and almost on fire. Brian Tarnowski grabbing 6th, Greg McConey and James Lowe rounding out your lead lap trucks. Lowe, the 4th driver to make it in after winning last week, so he was already clear coming into tonight. Connor Tafari and Ryan Decker rounding out your top 10. Mark McFadden, not the night he was hoping for. Dusty Burkhart, Jason Papp, Brandon Wilson, Austin Collins, and a night Joe Gauthier would just as soon forget. So that is going to do it for us tonight. Be sure to join us next week for the championship round of 4 at Daytona. On behalf of the iRacing Superspeedway Series, this is Tony Trapasso. Remind you, ladies and gentlemen, that until we meet again, and as you walk down the road of life this week, whatever you do, don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.